to sell a bowl of ramen, I mean, for us to really make a healthy margin on it, it needs to be something in the $21 range. But I can't do that because people would freak the out. We're trying to find a happy medium where we're not screwing over the customer and we're not screwing over ourselves.
Of course.
It's either raising prices or do I start buying crappy commodity product? And I think there's a lot of chefs out there that would rather close their doors than buy shitty product.
Your restaurants are profitable, presumably.
Yeah, right now they are. I mean, we've got a great team, but you know, as I said, we need to raise prices. That I know, but until I want to make sure that we've done our job in terms of making sure we run the best shift possible on our end before we pass that cost back on to the customer. And before we start to raise our prices, we still have some homework to do on our end. Basically, that's it. You know, and so how much we're going to have to raise that price, I don't know. But put it this way: there's only so much. How much longer can McDonald's sell a $1 value meal? You know, you can't. And running a restaurant is just fucking expensive. There's not that much money to be made in it. And if food costs rise by a certain percentage, you know, you're going to see restaurants go out of business. So I mean, rents are already astronomical. So how is it that, you know? I mean, I think it's a big concern for the future, and it's something that I've been concerned about for a long time. Is, you know, like, what are you supposed to do? If wheat prices skyrocket, which they have been, and rice prices will skyrocket, these are two staple ingredients that not only restaurants need, but the poorest of the poor need to survive. And that affects everything. So obviously that's affected by gas prices, but if you don't even worry about that, all that affects so many other items in the food world. It just has a crazy domino effect. It's very hard for restaurants to sort of say raise prices because people think that they're making money off it, or versus raising prices because they have to raise prices. I think it's a mixture of both. For Co, for instance, we work better when we have to, you know, how should I say, work with ingredients that are given to us.
Understood.
You know, we don't buy anything outside of. We could buy more exotic, more. You know, we could do a $200 menu, but it would just seem out of place because we don't have the service and we don't have the luxury that other restaurants have. We don't use any fish that's expensive. We've only always used, for the most part, I'd say 90% of our fish have always been from the waters of New York.
You never served Dover sole, which is impressive.
No, we never served Dover sole. We took hamachi off the menu. We've taken a lot of things. I mean, certain things we keep, like Santa Monica uni and certain things, but, you know, our main goal is to always obviously use as local as possible. Not that it's a pat on our back or anything, but again, it forces us to be more creative, or it puts a ceiling in terms of what we can work with. And then going back to sort of what works at Co and Noodle Bar and at Sambar. Sambar is a perfect example with a duck program. It's like, okay, we're using Crescent Farm ducks from Long Island, but that menu is, okay, we have roasted ducks. What are we going to do with the legs? So we make a farce out of that. Okay, how else can we stretch that duck? Okay, we'll make charcuterie, so we turn that into a sandwich. And all the carcasses and every scrap of meat gets turned into a farce for the dumpling. So now we stretch it out 4 different ways. When it traditionally is an item that might just be one thing. I know that Noodle Bar's food costs have risen quite dramatically, actually, over the past year and a half. So, no, we don't want to raise prices just for the sake of raising prices to counteract the food cost? Can we make up that ground somewhere else? That's basically what I'm looking at. We're just trying to find ways to stretch it out more, whether it's everything. Like, we've altered a lot of different things. For instance, the soup and noodle bars changed. We're using more dry shiitakes right now than we were doing beef. We're tweaking around with ratios. Mm-hmm. For instance, it's forcing us to maybe be more creative. Instead of throwing away the cooked bacon that we use from the Sutton scraps in the ham, if you cook bacon in a pressure cooker, you're going to get more flavor out of it. It's just a fact. Instead of just piling in a bunch of bacon in the stock pot. And after that, you can make an oil out of that, whatever's residual. So now we're topping our bacon, our ramen with, Benton's oil, the Benton's bacon fat. Yeah, and in some are like, yes, we need to increase prices on certain things, but, we're going to wait and see. I would rather us try to figure out how not to raise prices on, I think we need to raise prices on certain things, but we're just in a wait and see mode. We're going to...
And what about the other...
Right. That's the idea, is wait and see. Australia, everywhere but America, people know food's expensive. Australia food is expensive. It just is. Like, you go for breakfast, I think because they have to import a lot of things, or I don't know what it is yet, but food is just generally more expensive. For instance, if you look at some of the top restaurants, just go online, if you look at them in Australia, you'll see, because the dollar is relatively the same, I think it's even more now, it's pretty expensive. Like, you'll order an entree, and it's not unlike, how should I say, you'll see $40, $50, $60 price entrees a lot in Australia. We want to do something that's fair, and for us, at the very least, I'm calling you because it's something that this is something that I'm racking my brain over myself. As a group, we are at the restaurants. We still want, regardless of whether people hate our guts or not, they eat our food. We want them to at least be like, okay, that was of value, And there's only so much you can do that with raising your prices. We want to explore every possible avenue except raising the price. And hopefully by that time, things might have settled down, and we may have figured out a way to, maybe culinary-wise, not just sacrifice, but make it better. For instance, using more offcuts and stuff.